associated with modifying the ERP system, right?
Okay.
And then the second one is, what are the activities that are going to cost them money to engage in associated with changing the organization?
More training.
So would that be like a training
Yeah,
activity?
exactly. That would be an obvious one, right?
Okay.
So we weren't too far off.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Do any questions? So the first one about things that they'll have to change about the package itself.
Right. So either that the case specifically says they're going to change, or maybe a recommendation that you make about change.
So like some sort of bolt-on or whatever would be an example.
A bolt-on, or if they're going to customize something instead of going with the best practice process.
Would that be like, that would be like one example if we said something like that?
Yeah, bolt-on would be.
How do we, because the case is like not really a case.
Right, it's sort of a set of different.
Do we need to refer to the hospitals? Because none of the questions actually connect to the hospitals at all. It's almost just like questions about the concepts and do we understand that, but is there an expectation that will include?
Well, I think we're at the end of the question where it says, for each cost-inducing activity, make clear its relationship to package event structures and to ERP organizational alignment. I think it's going to be easier to make that case, and I know those are words that you go, why the hell didn't you pick simpler words? But to make that case, using examples are going to be better, right?
Okay.
So here's the example, here's what in the organization is changing, or here's what in the software is changing to create the fit.
Okay, so
Right.
say on the first question we say this is what you would change, you'd customize the program, and then it's like we would use examples from the case as entering the second half of that first question.
Especially because, and I think the chapter says this, but I haven't reread it lately. When you implement an ERP system, where you're going to get where you're going to get the best value, the best bang for the investment, is to use it as is, right? It has these best practices built into it. That's the reason you bought it. So if you're going to change it, there needs to be a legitimate business reason for changing it, right? And so you can't answer question one without getting specific about what the business does, what its critical success factors are, what its key skills and abilities are that make it necessary to change the software.
So that's the answer to the second half of question 1 and question. Okay, so why basically it's
and then the
necessary.
second one is, what's not special about them that means that we should change the organization to match the software.
Okay, that's much.
Okay.
Can you help us also on the third question?
Taken just by position with a misalignment issue, will have a greater influence on
Where's my blessing?
Bless you. Realization of anticipated benefits. So there, the question is essentially asking you, what's going to be harder for them to achieve, right? It's going to be harder for them to achieve modifications to the software and implementing that, or is it going to be harder for them to achieve organizational change?
You guys are right. Good deal. I was totally wrong.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, yeah, that question one makes a lot more sense.
Because last fall I had the same question, because I borrowed what Bob does, and I went, whoa, those questions are not the best wording.
Yeah, they're just really wordy, so we weren't sure if we were getting
them right. And they use these sort of strange terms.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that helps.
I think I'm good now. That makes sense.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
You bet.